afternoon to everybody. I am Ahmed Khan. I am 1966 batch. My get at Babu and Babu was the classmates. I belong to 1966 batch. And after completing BTech, I did my MTech from NITW. Then I joined now RR Labs. Now it is called IACP. In RR Labs, I worked in RR Labs. I retired from RR Labs. I worked about 33 years. Our job was there to develop chemical processes from the bench scale and then to do the work on pellet scale. Afterwards, to design a commercial plants. So basically, we worked in pesticide plants. Many organic intermediates we also did. Major contribution is toward developments of pesticides and design of the pesticide plants. The days which we gave, yes, I am one of the designers of the chemical plants of pesticides, and many plants have come up in India. In Hyderabad, also many plants have come up. Afterwards, I did my basic work in hydrodynamics of compounds from packet beds. I produced 2 PhDs. I swallowed it. Yes, I want to add.
Good afternoon. My name is Babu. I passed out BTech in 1971. We lost about 6 months due to local agitation at the time. We came out in 1972. There I did my MTech in 1974 from here and joined FSCT at the management training. So I started my career in FSCT, that is fertilizer and chemicals from India. From there, I moved to finance where I worked for 20 years. So initially 12 years I was in the technical side, later I came to the management side. And from the finance events I moved to UBC Ferroalloys and retired from oil and gas. I was in the industry for about 40 years. And today we have started an industry. My son has started an industry and my sister. And during the 40 years, when you run an industry at a senior level, you are not only supposed to know the technical aspects of the company, but you are supposed to know the human relations, job management, as well as materials procurement, finance, and stores management. So for those of you students, while you are in the college, you try to understand the basic principles of the engineering, but when you go, you need to learn many aspects of the human life. It is just not the technical knowledge that alone takes you forward. You need to have an interpersonal relationship. You need to have patience. You need to understand and listen to the other points of view. And you also need to understand the laws of the state and the laws of the country. So you take this opportunity to build yourself, not only in the technical side, you try to build a good team spirit, try to develop a habit of listen to others, try to accept others as they are, and also develop overall skills. I think that will make your success much easier rather than only trying to develop the theoretical principles. This is what I feel is essential for most of the initial work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just read out the names of the participants for the panel discussion tomorrow. 10 o'clock in the department seminar hall. Dr. K. Babu Rao retired from ICT from the first batch, and Mr. T. G. Kulkarni, second batch, and Dr. P. G. Rao, and Mr. Vasant Kumar K, Mr. A. Rambabuji, Mr. C. G. Seturam, and Mr. P. M. Rao, Mr. P. Mahendra Kumar, and Mr. Rama Prasad, Professor P. Vijay Babu, Dr. R. Vijay, and Mr. Chandrasekhar G, and Mr. B. Kanakaya. Ms. Ravia Lapanini and Mr. Gautam Prasad, they are on. Okay. So any other alumni, if you are interested, please, you are welcome to join. Go to the next batch. Next batch, 1974. I think Dr. PG Rao, he said he would come. I think he's not going to be let out shortly. 1975 batch. We have three: Mr. Venkat Chingoli sir, Mr. Vasant Kumar, and Babu.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Vasant Kumar, 70-75 chemical engineering batch. After finishing my BTech from RC Warangal, I went to IIT Bombay for my MTech. After finishing my MTech from IIT Bombay, I worked with Larsen & Toubro Power Works, then Research Products as a design engineer. Then I worked with Gona India Limited, the German company, as a design engineer. I was dealing with process equipment design and engineering, about 4 years. Then I joined NITW Corporation, Fortune 500 company, a refiner. I joined in 1981. I joined in Mathura. At that time, Mathura was under construction, so I was involved in the construction activities. 1981 to 2012, I was with NITW Corporation. I worked in various disciplines. I was production engineering, process engineering, project engineering, technical services. I was involved in execution of various refinery and petrochemical projects. I was involved in execution of this 15,000 crore naphtha cracker project at Panipat refinery. I was into petrochemical field also. I was involved in execution of HDP, high density polyethylene plant, monoethylene glycol MVC plant, and to some extent the PP plant. I was involved in tender preparation and then dealing, licensing with the process licensor, the LSTK contractors, the process consultant. So about 6 years I was totally involved into execution of that particular project. Then I was at head office, Delhi, the refinery headquarters, about 15 years at Delhi head office in projects. And I retired from Delhi headquarters as chief executive from Delhi. Afterwards, I am just relaxing to get my daughter. I have 2 kids. My son is MS and he is in US. He is working with JP Morgan in Columbus. I have a daughter, she is working with IBM Bangalore. So that's all. Thank you.
Good evening everybody. I am Viram Babu, 70 to 75 batch. I did chemical engineering from RC Warangal. After that, I joined for short time in MTech.
Class first, huh? This clap.
I joined in MTech IIT Chennai, but left and joined job, Bangai Refineries and Petrochemicals. That was a company starting at that time. We used to see when in the college advertisements, Bangai Refinery. We don't know when it is, but finally we landed up in that job. Initially worked in project training. At that time there was no project, so we had to take training in Baroni refinery. For 8 months I was in Baroni, taking as a GT training. After that we went to the project site. Mainly we were taken for commissioning of the projects. Initially worked in commissioning of from the scratch, all the from utilities to CDU. Some kerosene drinking unit, which is sulfur extraction, sulfur dioxide extraction plant, the development process, then DCU delayed coker units. Ours, this thing, Bangai refinery petrochemicals, was the first refinery from petrochemical come polyester plant. This is a completely integrated plant. Unfortunately, the capacities of the plants are very less at that time. It was initially in IPCL, later on it became an independent public sector, Bangai Petrochemicals. So because of our capacity is low, after 1998-99, there was intense competition in petrochemical industry. We had in petrochemical sections, Parajali. We used to, from the refinery, we used to get naphtha, from naphtha to Parajali, and from Parajali to DMT, we used to manufacture. From DMT to polyester fiber, we used to manufacture. This is integrated completely plant. I worked in DMT commissioning, Jailings commissioning, worked as chief manager of this plant operation. At that time, the very troublesome plants, along with me, Mr. C.R. Misra, 83 batch, we were working there together. So he knows how we need to struggle in the plant, night and daytime. Finally stabilized the plant. Production came, unfortunately, this integrated refinery petrochemical polyester plant could not sustain because of the intense competition from private industry. Finally, the oil industry reorganization came. In that, Bangladesh refinery plant was shares were purchased by IOCL, like Chennai refinery also purchased by IOCL. Our Bangladesh refinery was subsidiary for some 6 years. After that, it was merged in IOCL. I worked in this Bangladesh refinery as technical service, then operation, in charge of this total process units. Then I came to safety environment, retired from Bangladesh refinery as region GM safety and environment. This is I learned a lot of things in refinery, oil industry and all these things, commissioning, various new plants commissioning and all these things. Technical aspects, management aspects, everybody has to do this thing. Many times seeing the magazines, seeing the new things, all these things are important for the students. Whatever we learn, definitely this will be useful. One interesting thing I will tell you. Once hot and sphere is being pressure tested, our mechanical friends they brought 2 liters this pump. It was not pressurizing. That was a 4,000 meter cube tank, and 2 days almost it was not pressurizing to 30 kg pressure. They thought that it will be pressurized by 2 meter cube because liquid compressibility is very less. It was not pressurizing. Then I referred to this thing, chemical engineering Perry book, compressibility of the liquids. I calculated it requires almost 6 meter cube to pressurize 4,000 meter cube of tank. With 2 liters, it would have taken 15 to 20 days. They were pressurizing 2 days, but it is not going. There is some leak and all these things. Then I told that this will not happen like this. You have to bring a higher capacity pump. They bought the higher capacity pump. Then this thing they could pressure test at 30 kg pressure. So these things we will have to think and see our own literature and all these things. That is important. Students also have to not forgetting the technical knowledge. It has to be always to be companion with the future also. So I wish every new people who are coming to be more active in production life and operation. They have all opportunities. Not only you have to train the chemical, other aspects of maintenance and safety. These are all important because chemical engineers they will be going to various type of industries. Safety is also important because they are going to handle various type of pressures, temperatures, reactions and all these things. Many accidents are taking place. Many history is there, Flaxborough and all these accidents. And in chemical industry, main this Bhopal accident caused the alert to this government, and they have created a new safety directorate, oil industry safety directorate has formed after that to see that what is happening in the chemical industry. Then this oil industry safety directorate is now monitoring every aspects of safety and all these things. This is very important.
people, the safety aspects is also risk analysis and all these things are important for the student and their future this is career growth also. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Hello, hello.
మా గురువు గారు అప్పుడు ఇట్లా హై లెవెల్లో మాట్లాడేవాడు, ఇప్పుడు మాట్లాడుతున్నాం. అందుకే అప్పుడు క్లాస్ ఫస్ట్ అయ్యాడు, అందుకే ఆయన హెడ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్ అయ్యాడు. మనం ఎందుకు చిన్న లెవెల్లో ఉన్నాం. See, frankly, when I came here in 1970, I didn't join chemical department because I had a great love. It's only 3 of us toppers from Andhra, there were 3 seats. So this guy took the first seat. Second seat was taken away by Hanumantrao, and third seat is given to me. And I became, because I thought, I went and told my parents, all other fellows will get BE, but I will get BTech. That's why, that's the only thing, there is no other love. 5 years studied, but never ever near any of these guys who are toppers. And I never worked in any of the fields related to unit operations, unit processes, metabase and Dryden and Gopal Rao and any of that. But I remember every chemical engineer, I'll ask him in the interview, name of the textbook, what is the name of unit operations, unit processes, again. That fellow, he thinks I am a great fellow. I only remember still the names. Because we spent $100 that time in Matunga in 1974 buying that Perry chemical engineer's handbook. Because that is as much as buying some 10 kilos of gold for your wife today. That book, it is that heavy. So after 5 years here, I went to IIM, and after IIM I have been in management. 28 years I have been working in finance, marketing. For 15 years I worked. Then I was a CEO for 19 years for 2 different companies. After that I started the 108 ambulance services here. So after coming to Hyderabad, I have been a frequent visitor to NITW. So 6 years I worked in EMRI, from first ambulance to 3,200 ambulance. I launched in 12 states, and I am happy that these 12 states operating these 3,200 ambulances, we were able to save 5,20,000 lives by handling 12 million emergencies. And we conducted 140,000 deliveries inside ambulances. For some of our young friends, I clarify, we have only conducted deliveries, not pregnancies. That other part somebody did, this second part only we did. So having... Yeah, so when I was in Chennai as a CEO of General Multinational, I used to be president of our REC chapter, and Venkatratnam was helping me. We did a lot of things. From that time, I became active in REC Alumni affairs. First 20 years I was quite inactive because I was in Bombay and Bangalore now. But then last 10 years I have been coming quite often, and particularly when I requested Dr. Kalam, when he was our chairman, I said, sir, Jawaharlal Nehru only came to REC, nobody else of that order came, you have to come. He said, provided we drive down, you come with me, we will travel for 3 hours. And then we will come here. We traveled together, we came here, and I told him what REC, that 3 hours opportunity I got to hammer him, what we did 5 years here. All non-curricular, I told him, all non-curricular. RECW stands for, R stands for responsibility. It taught us responsibility. At the age of 16 when we came, how you will not become irresponsible, this institute taught us. Next one I told him, this institute taught us empathy. Lot of empathy amongst people. Today, when I see all the guys, there is some different kind of empathy. It's not like that, hi, bye, IIM, IIT, Ohio, American universities now. This is RECW. There is a lot of empathy,
and fantastic communication. All of us cannot speak English much that time, but still we were communicating to each other in that language. This place taught us that communication where the other person can understand. It is not English, it is not that high convent English, but it is simple English where the other man can understand. And the W, I said it stands for the warmth. What warmth you get in this place, you cannot get. It is not possible anywhere else. Even if you touch your wife, you get only cold, not warm at the face. But I must tell you, this place provides a lot of, yeah. My experience, yeah. I am not actually. But he jumping as if I touched his wife only.
Communication.
C is the communication. Responsibility, empathy, communication and warmth, what I learned in this campus, which differentiates this campus anywhere else. And then coming to chemical, this is the first time in these 40 years, or 40 years of going out and 45 years of coming to this campus. First time I'm attending chemical meeting where a lot of people who studied chemical passed out and came here. Though I addressed the students, but this first time alumni of chemical coming together, I thought I will not wait for 50 or 60th year, because I may not be there. Let me come here and spend these 2 days. Tomorrow also I told women I may not be here, but I cancelled that, but I said I would like to be here because this is something chemical department completing 50 years and we guys being part of it. I thought it's a privilege. You won't get in your lifetime that kind of privilege. Independent of your age, whether you are 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, still you are part of the 50th celebration which you cannot get otherwise. And it so happened to me, IMA where I went, that also completed 50 years. My department also is completed 50 years. And it's rarely it happens to you during your lifetime where you studied that department, that institute also completed 50 years. So what I learned here, the chemical world, when I started analyzing, because I didn't work in chemical industries, I never worked in production operations, I only worked in finance and that kind of things. Unlike Setu, I took over Setu's job. He gave me his job once in Chennai. He thought I cannot handle his job. He divided the job into 2 parts and gave me small part. This fellow let him do that small part, I will do big part. And he took the big part and gave me the small part and motivated me. Instead of motivating me, he rang up my wife and told her this is a better job and convinced her and made us move from there, Chennai, Bangalore to Chennai. And I must tell you, fantastic experience. Only an REC guy can be ever selfless like this. And that too, a chemical guy can be selfless like that. That is only self-love. Nobody else can be. He was the CEO, but told the management, better you bring another CEO and let him run this business of fragrance and flavors, whereas I can run chemicals, but let him get the fragrance flavors. And everybody was pessimistic. They said nothing he can do. 2 crores turnover and 4 crores loss when I joined 94. Everybody said, bad luck to you, you cannot do anything. And remember, 11 years later, it was 130 crores turnover. My shareholder sold 2.25 crores for 43 crores and ran away. But what I learned from chemical department, what I applied was, I want to elaborate CHEMICAL. What I learned in these 5 years. The C is the chemistry. The chemistry, it is not the chemistry what you study here. You will continue to study the chemistry between human beings when you start managing people. The chemistry, that H2O, when hydrogen comes from one corner, when oxygen comes from one corner, hydrogen from atomic number 1, oxygen of 16, that fellow brings 2, this fellow brings 61, and that fellow contributes 10 of the molecular weight of 18. He contributes only 10%, this guy contributes 90%, but both of them, though they are useful independently, hydrogen is useful separately, oxygen is useful separately, but both combined together, they are useful for some purpose. Can you forget your individual identities, come together for a purpose and play that purpose? That's what that Dragoco India, when I was CEO, I said, you Indian partner, you German partner, you are hydrogen, you are oxygen, I am H2O. This identity is different, this purpose is different. I'll create a new culture, new thing. In EMRI when I joined, I told Ramalangarazu, Satyam culture is different, EMRA culture is different. I told Rajshekhar Reddy, government culture is different, EMRA culture is different. Because EMRA is funded by government, started by Ramalangarazu, but EMRA, I said, I will have a different culture. That I learned from our chemistry, our H2O. Two entities can come together, can become something different and be useful. Next one, what I learned here is the periodic tables. When we studied, the very first element is hydrogen. Number one, whatever you do, chemical guys of REC, when you go out, doesn't matter whether you do non-chemical job also doesn't matter. But see that you become number one. You do number one work where you don't get a bad name to REC chemical department. I must proudly say that I have become number one and I brought a good name to the chemical department. Wherever I go, I proudly say I am a chemical engineer. I told recently Akhilesh Yadav, I said when he said he is from Mysore. Mysore is nothing, I am from NITW Warangal. Mysore before NITW Warangal. And I think that is what I learned here. You have to be number one whatever you do. It has to be best process, best class, best service, best thing what you do, it has to be number one. That's the H part of chemical. The E part is, we studied so much, everything is towards engineering. You have to engineer, you have to re-engineer. Engineering mind is different. I don't think a CEO without engineering mind